I'd like to read a statement. We're here tonight to stand up for fairness in our promotional process and to eliminate political manipulation that is currently going on with the selection of our next chief and lower ranking officers. I'd like to clearly state that what's going on has nothing to do with saving money for the town. It has to do with manipulation of the process to promote friends and political allies. As residents, taxpayers, and officers, we should demand that officers be promoted fairly and based on merit, not political affiliation. Captain Strumolo is currently the second in command to the chief, who's retiring November 1st. Captain Strumolo has been in the position for 5 years, and for the last 11 months has been assuming the duties of the deputy chief in addition to his duties as captain. He's been acting police chief whenever Chief Holland is absent. When Chief Holland retires, Captain Strumolo will be the highest ranking officer within the department. According to Chief Holland and retired Chief DeLitto, Captain Strumolo is the most qualified officer to succeed him as chief. He is already tested for the position of chief, which according to civil service can be used to promote him to chief. Captain Strumolo is currently the only officer in the Nutley Police Department qualified to be chief, as per civil service. For the past 3 years, Captain Strumolo has been assigned to administration. In addition to commanding all personnel in the department, he is working side by side with Chief Holland over this period and has learned all the duties of the chief of police. No other officer within the department has the rank or experience that Captain Strumolo has. Therefore, anything short of promoting Captain Strumolo to chief on November 1st would be considered manipulation of the promotional process. By calling for an exam and opening that exam up to lower ranks, this would go against the recommendations of Chief Holland and retired Chief DeLitto. Never in the history of the Nutley Police Department has anyone lower than the rank been promoted to chief. I'm asking the entire Board of Commissioners to see that fairness and merit follow in the selection of the next chief. It is not a political influence is allowed. If not, political influence will be allowed to dictate it. It has the potential to destroy the police department, as it's done in other police departments. This goes against the entire civil service system, which is 100% merit-based through its evaluation process. Next, I'd like to address some statements the mayor made at the last meeting. Stated due to the closing of Hoffman LaRoche and uncertain tax revenues, you were committed to not promoting anyone. If this is true, why did you hire a second administrative assistant at $47,000 plus benefits? Several months ago, you proposed changing our table of organization. Your speech stated that you were doing this to save the taxpayers money. You proposed an elimination of the deputy chief position and to add 2 high-paying captain's positions, which would have added about $125,000 to the budget. How are we going to save money by doing that? If this were true, if you were truly concerned about the taxpayers, you would have held off on creating that second administrative assistant at a cost of more than the $9,000 which we would have saved by eliminating the deputy chief's position. So apparently it has nothing to do with money and everything to do with manipulation. At a time when tax revenue is concerned, how do we justify adding positions? Saving money has nothing to do with properly appointing the next chief of police. In either way, November 1st, we will need a new one. I also spoke to Chief Holland and retired Chief DeLitto with a combined law enforcement experience of over 80 years. Their recommendation is that Thomas Strumolo is the only candidate in the police department that's capable of being the next chief, in their opinion. He's done the job, he has the experience, he's got one of the highest test scores on the deputy chief's exam for civil service, which is also the chief's exam. He had 80 years of law enforcement experience sitting here in the front row. Not to mention civil service. They put him in the #1 position with one of the highest scores in the state for the deputy chief's exam. 80 years of law enforcement experience. Effectively, the state of New Jersey, through civil service, are stating that he's the best candidate for the job. Why would we be opening up the test to lower ranks, something that's never been done before in the history of the Nutley Police Department? Why would we open it up to junior officers with less experience? The best candidate for the job, as recommended by 80 years of law enforcement experience, the best candidate for the job, as recommended by civil service through an unbiased testing process. I had asked the first time I came to the microphone for help. again, we can't have a good town without a good police department. We can't have a good police department without a good chief. We feel the best candidate for the job is sitting behind me. And thank you for your time.
Gerard, before you go, I would just like to ask you a question. You keep saying that I'm trying to manipulate the procedure. We talked about that in my office for 2.5 hours.
We did.
About that civil service rules and regulations dictate to what we can do. And you admitted that I'm operating the law that those articles that we need to follow. And it's my right to open up the test, and there's not a valid. But no comment needed on that, and I appreciate your professionalism. So,
Well, I'm prepared to listen. I'm prepared to comment.
okay, so why don't we just cut to the chase tonight? You keep saying that I'm trying to manipulate the system, I'm trying to get to my friend. For everybody in the crowd here tonight, for the record, why don't you tell me who I'm trying to get to and who's my friend? For the record.
Which one?
Tell me all. Tell me all. Professionals, we're going to give you that courtesy, and we expect it from the crowd. So there's going to be a couple ground rules. If you want courtesy and respect, throw back to you, we expect it up here. So why don't you name the names?
Who's on the lieutenant's list about to be, who's on the captain's list? You can tell me.
Is that the one that you're accusing me of being a friend?
That's the list we
trying
want
to get to certain people. Why don't you do that?
I'm not going to argue with you because that's not what we're here for. You had asked me who the best candidate for chief was. I gave you that opinion. I'm sorry, you asked me who the worst candidate was, and then you asked me a couple others. I'm not going to talk about that now. We're here in defense of the process. The only reason Tommy Strumwell's name is the only one brought up. Excuse me, sir. I allowed you to speak. I'd like the same courtesy. The only reason Tommy Strumwell's name is being brought up is because his list is the only list that's still active. All the rest of the lists were used till their existence or extended and then expired. We only have one list left for the affected officers that we're here for.
Okay, so who is it that I'm trying to reach?
Again, I don't know. There are several candidates that would best suit you.
And when I was trying to add the captains to the table organization as well, why weren't you here fighting for your own members? Why didn't you fight for the captain's position that I wanted to add?
You wanted to add 2 positions. How do I, as the CBA president, come up here and say, we don't want you to add any positions?
Well, why didn't you fight for your members? When I wanted to add the positions, why would you?
Maybe I'm misunderstanding. You wanted to add positions to the police department. Why would I be against that?
Why wouldn't you come voice your opinion and fight for those men?
All right, someone help me out.
Nothing to help.
I honestly don't understand the question. If you want to add 10 more officers, I'm not going to come up here and fight you on that. I'm going to applaud you for that. The same thing, if you want to add 2 captains, I'm going to say let's add 2 captains. I'll take that. I will never turn down more men to protect my fellow officers, to protect the town.